Moments later.
Anamorphosis says, Elijah, and I apologize for this in advance, Jack, asked Murphy about the article he wrote about literally cuckolding his wife. I wish I was joking. True alpha.
Wow.
True.
Wow, you went there with that.
Listen, I know I'm putting on the tinfoil hat. I know I'm fully tinfoil hatted here. But being like, oh, I don't know anything, but can we please not talk about it is, I don't know, suspicious to me.
Dude, my situation sucks. I'm super impoverished. Please release me. And he was like, yeah, I'll hold on to the company. And, you know, you can buy me out at a later stage when you're in a better financial position. And I was like,
But let's get to the last thing we've got tonight, which is fairly long. Camelot did an interview with Sydne Watson. Now, for those of you who don't know who Sydne Watson is, let me give you a little... Sydne Watson has been fairly well known on the internet for a while. She got kind of like... She got a lot of shit during one particular part of her career when she broke away from the podcast. She seems to have like had pretty good... I guess she seems to have had a pretty good return to form, because Sydne Watson's probably best moment is with Jack Murphy, ironically. I don't know if you remember who Jack Murphy is. Jack Murphy ran something called the Liminal Order. It was like a red pill kind of manosphere, Christian conservative things. Christian conservative, like, we need to be traditional. And it turned out Jack Murphy was actually an absolute fucking freak who was shoving dildos up his ass and, like, prostituting his girlfriend. Absolute fucking weirdo. Absolute deep weirdo. So, let's have a quick look at this.
Is laughing. Like, she'll be like, how is it then that if, like... If
Are we going to do the ovens and the cookie thing now?
No. She'll read, she'll read something so innocently. She'll be like,
get there.
But they're so good and get her. They'll be like, I love carpentry and building things. And I built a wood door for my shower, but the steam still got out while I was showering. How could wood keep steam in the shower and keep the gases in? And she'll read it and she'll be like, I don't know. I maybe like she'll like respond, maybe get like a different type of a glass door. And she just like moves on. And I'm just like,
yeah, she doesn't know she's done it until she hears me and Elijah laughing.
I'm like, she just like she does this. And I'm like,
I am now officially concerned for my career.
She reads this stuff.
I love the foreshadowing. Oh, I'm really concerned now for my career, guys. This is the real worry. Much like Chrissy's stream recently, this stream ended Jack Murphy's career. This, like, it is shocking how quickly someone's career can just implode. This is a classic fucking internet moment.
And she doesn't know what she's reading, and she's trying to be nice.
You could have warned me.
Well, where would the fun in that be?
Moments later.
Anamorphosis says, Elijah, and I apologize for this in advance, Jack, asked Murphy about the article he wrote about literally cuckolding his wife. I wish I was joking. True alpha.
Wow.
True.
Wow, you went there with that. I have absolutely no comment on that other than to say that whatever people's perception is about that, it's 180 degrees wrong. And
spoiler, it was not. This guy was cuckolding it, like he was a cuck. And again, there are some very, very explicit pictures on the internet with Jack Murphy with a giant dildo up his ass. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. This man, he's still around, by the way. He shaved the beard now. He does like televangelist stuff or some sort of shit, or telehelp or some shit. I don't fucking know.
And it has nothing to do with people think what they're thinking it to be today.
Are we talking about sex right now?
Do you know what cuckolding is?
I totally thought
it's
you were
where
reading...
you get a chicken and you hold it and you love it.
I just blanked out for a second.
You make more chickens.
Honestly, I think Sydney is a bit of a hidden treasure.
I just blanked out for a second.
I support you having chickens.
We don't
have
kink
chickens.
shame.
I like chickens.
If you have a hen house, that's great. That's you should have your own eggs. Great.
We don't
supply,
kink shame.
Great for protein.
More moments later.
Mr. Dick and Balls says, "Hey Jack."
See, that's what she does. She does this. Like she reads it like.
Jack Murphy's career got ended by a guy with the username Mr. Dick and Balls.
That's normal. Like it's not even. She's not even saying, I'm not gonna skip the name. She just goes, Mr. Dick and Ball said.
Could you please clear up the cuck article you wrote?
I am not going to talk about this.
Okay.
And basically, you know what? Fuck you for bringing this up right here and right now.
Me?
Why are you doing this to me?
I didn't know that. I didn't know what it was.
Well, just use a little bit of fucking common sense.
Sorry, apologies.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Elizabeth.
Heartfelt.
Elizabeth Harrison says,
He knows this is ending his career. He knows. It's so fucking good.
Gonna miss the show, but have a good break. IHTAC, what's that?
I just love the end. Watch this. Like, watch the way Jack just, like, storms off the fucking set. Dude. It's so over. Anyway. Camelot, like, after, like, a load of stuff happened, Sydne Watson basically ended up working with the Quartering on this, like, fucking news website thing, and, Camelot has an interview with her. There are also some DMs that we're going to go through as well. They get leaked about the Quartering. So let's get into it.
You know, bear with me, a little nervous. So let's just jump right into this. I saw Sydney liked my post about the Quartering betraying his friends should affect his mental health more than just being on X, which he never left anyway. He deleted X, but he said he's taking a break from X, but he's been on it all day on his stream scrolling, so he's not actually taking a break. So she liked my tweet about that. So I was like, oh, wow, Sydney, I haven't talked to Sydney in a while, you know? And I was like, you know what? Let me ask her something. So I messaged her. And Sydney has always been super, super cool with me. So she replied. So here's what I said. I said, I know this is likely a wild inquiry, but if you ever want to pop on my show for 30 minutes or something in the future to give your take on this Quartering mess, you're welcome and invited. And shockingly enough, she immediately responded. She says, the reason I'm not the reason. Okay, hold on. This is not the.
Sydney has her own controversies. Yeah, I know there was a load of stuff that happened with Elijah, but I don't actually know the lore of it. So if I am missing something, you can point it out to me. I won't be annoyed. I probably am missing a lot of stuff with Sydney.
So she said she didn't want to come on the show.
So basically, if you want to come on 30 minutes in the future and give your take on this Quartering mess, you're welcome and invited. Do you know what? We're going to listen to a lot of Camelot, and I want to get to the interview. So we might just get through, start reading them ourselves. Camelot blanks this out and he said, and he has threatened me with them, which suggests some form of blackmail. And I don't really want my personal... Is there more?
I want to be honest and do it. Now, this changes pretty quick, okay? So she didn't want to do it. Now, this changes pretty quickly. I'm going to be honest. And we start getting pretty much in the nitty-gritty.
Of course, that's what I imagined. Kind of got the vibe there was a bad falling out. Yeah, I fucking hate him. So this is about them working together. And he literally could have made me less of an enemy if he just shut his fat fucking face when shit went down. But he couldn't help himself. Dude. I figured I would ask. And then we move on. What else does Sydney say? What else have we got? He called my buddies on the phone, another streamer, and told him that he was broke and being forced to stream because Rumble. My buddy said he was incredibly drunk and barely could make out his words, implying he was going bankrupt. Now, I do want to say something about this, because this has been doing the rounds. And it's interesting that Sydney's like, he's such a liar. I don't know if I believe this. And I'll tell you why. I don't, partly because Jeremy apparently said this while drunk, and this is like third-hand information. But also, because if this was true, if he didn't want to stream, why did he renew his contract with Rumble? Like, this seems like it was a little while ago. It might be that he's going bankrupt. That I can fucking believe. But the idea that he, like, has to stream because of Rumble, like, what? He's just renewed his contract. This seems really fucking weird. Then, and like, the problem is, Jeremy himself is a terrible fucking narrator of his own life. This dude lies all the fucking time.
That it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't even matter at this point anymore. She said
the buddy equals Rakita. That's interesting. Do you reckon so? Is that actually, has Nick confirmed that? Listen, if MLS is in chat, do you like? You put me in touch with Nick. Can I talk to Nick Rakita? Like, I won't bring up any of the Coke stuff, okay? I just want to hear his Quartering story. If Nick Rakita wants to come and talk about the fucking Quartering.
Oh, I said he called a buddy of mine and told him that he was broke and being forced to stream because of Rumble. I probably shouldn't have fucking showed this. Well, yeah, whatever.
Here, I'll get you in touch. Yeah, fuck it. Just listen. If Nick wants to talk about the fucking core ring anywhere, I will talk to Nick about the core. Like 100%. That'd be so fucking insane.
Yeah, so I'll just give you guys the deets on that. The quartering wants to quit streaming.
Rumble's owner confirmed there's no contract. So what Rumble's owner confirmed was there's no like there's no 5-year contracts. They don't do that, but they do yearly contracts. So they are moving away from them. The implication here is that the quartering has to like stream because of his quartering deal, and that they won't let him quit. But that also flies in the face of something that Jeremy has said. Jeremy has said that the contract he has with Rumble is basically do whatever you want. There's no like required streaming hours. There's no minimum viewership. There's no minimum earning. There's just you have a contract with us. So it's really, again, this doesn't really make sense. My opinion is that Jeremy streams so much because he has to cut up these segments. He has to make the content because he has to cut it up so that he can put it on YouTube and like rely on the ad revenue and hope that something kicks off so he can get like one video that does like 100,000 views. But if you're doing multiple videos and he's monetizing well, then he might be making money off the sponsorships or like just the ad revenue coming in. Because across 5 videos, if he averages like 30,000 views, then he's going to make $1,000 a day, potentially, depending on how well he monetizes. But that is a stretch, right?
I mean,
he has no life. That's what I mean. Yeah, this is another thing. What the fuck else is like Jeremy going to do? This has been his life, his whole life for years, since the like 2010s, the early 2000s. He's been trying to build this online shit. He's got no real life. Like we've seen this in the June the King video. He has no real life friends. He's fucked.
Desperately, but Rumble will not let him. He has to stream every day on Rumble. So just letting you guys know. He does not want to stream. He hates streaming. He hates his chat. He hates everything about it. He doesn't want to be involved with streaming anymore. He basically has anxiety attacks the whole stream because everybody's calling him a cuck in the chat, and he can't take any criticism at all. So he's been pleading. I'm pretty sure, you know, I'm implying that he's been pleading with Rumble to get out of it, and Rumble won't let him get out of it. So suffer.
Again, this idea that he's pleading with Rumble to get out of it, he's just renewed it. He was talking about renewing it on Twitter, and like we sort of know the timescales. Again, he's an unreliable narrator, but this seems odd. I don't know if it's true, but then again, I haven't had the conversation, so I just thought I'd highlight this because this one seems like, I don't know. I kind of think Jeremy might just be drunk and lying because he's a depressed state and mess. Fuck knows.
Sydney says, Sydney's such a good person. I love Sydney, man. She says he's such a liar. He used to call me drunk, too. Say all kinds of shit. And we're going to get to that, by the way. Keep in mind, this is like the 3rd slide out of like 1 billion. I got to the point where I had to record all of our calls because he says all this crap and then immediately walks it back the next day.
Oh, doesn't that sound fucking familiar?
Sound familiar? Does this sound familiar to anybody? He said he would go scorched earth and like ruin everybody's life tomorrow, and then he wakes up the next day and says he's too big for it.
These audio recordings must be released. I totally listen. Sydney's talked about it. If she has fucking recorded calls or stuff with the court ring or like voice notes, she needs to release them because that shit would just be fucking incredible content. Like, I'm not going to make any bones about this. It would just be really fucking good content.
He's too important.
That sounds real.
Big.
Yeah, I totally believe this.
Right?
I totally believe this.
That's what he does, right? Remember, that's what he does. The recordings, yes, yo. The recordings, yes. I wonder what could happen with those. Make sure you subscribe. Oh, anyways. So look, guys, I know I'm like kind of stuttering. I'm like really nervous about all this because it's just gonna keep getting more and more and more and more wild. So Bearing, what's up, brother? Okay. Okay, I'm making sure I'm trying not to show crazy stuff. She's like, I felt like I was going insane working with him, felt constantly like I was being gaslit. The funny thing is, let's move to the next one. The funny thing is, I'm so glad these are in order. I was really worried they were going to be.
Release the Hambly files? Yes.
She says, the funny thing is, when he approached me to work and stream together, I told him I would not work with another alcoholic. And if he wanted to team up, he had to be sober. He agreed, and it quickly fell through. No shit, right? What happened the other day? He quit drinking, cold turkey. The next day, guess what happened? Guess what happened? The next day, what happened? Yeah, he got caught drinking Fireball shooters. Like a degenerate. Who drinks Fireball shooters? The wine based. He drinks the wine based alcohol shooters, not the whiskey one. My dog's barking. You hear him? All right. So I said, I think he's trying to garner sympathy or something. Dude's a strange dude. He claimed he's going to expose me on X and then walks it back to the next day. Just like he did with Craig, just like he did with everybody else. Yellow Flash. He's going to scorch earth and expose all of us. She says he gets drunk, talks insane shit, then he sobers up and realizes it's a bad idea. All right. All right. And I said, let's be fair, he deserves it. I posted the Ren Fair video because he struck my channel. I didn't realize that would go viral and he would get banned from all the Ren Fair entertainment.
Funny, though.
All right. She said, oh, my God, I saw that. Well, maybe he shouldn't be a fucking predator. Problem is, if I say anything, his entire house of cards come down. I know some private shit about his personal life, that makes everything make sense. And because I'm not sure of how I feel about publicly exposing that, I've said
I know some shit about his personal life that makes everything make sense. Interesting, Sydney. What could you know about his private life? Is it that Jeremy Hambly, the quartering, is secretly a fucking homosexual, and Kino Casino showed his Jewish boyfriend on stream, and it sent him over the edge, and he just needed to have these channels taken down? Is it because he sucks Adam's cock? Is that the secret information, Sydney? Because I feel like we've gone over most of the other stuff in his private life, and I mean, I'm just spitballing here. I mean, I would never accuse somebody of being potentially a homosexual if they weren't, but I'm just saying, I feel like Sydne Watson may be the missing piece we need to confirm whether the quartering is a flaming homosexual living in the closet and needs to come out. Adam has loved you for years, Jeremy. Adam's loved you for years. Isn't it time that you just solidified your relationship with him?
nothing. I said nothing. We're getting to it, boys. We're getting to it. All right. I know I'm having to work my way through these. Okay. Right here. I said he told me that normal people, the Ren Fair behavior was completely normal, and normal guys basically walk around filming women. I said, I guess I'm not a real dude. She says, no, they don't. What the fuck? And then she sparks out. This is something City does a lot, which I really enjoy. She just spams the keyboard. She's like, it makes me so angry.
Lost in Worlds with the 5. Yo, Becky, watching from a new awesome ramen shop where I live. Where I love? Okay. Got a kick-ass green apple bubba tea and pork ramen to go with the shit show. Enjoy Lost in Worlds. I'm glad you are having a pleasant evening. Translate with the 5. I'll post a picture of Gizmo in the pet channel if you wanted a break from the absolute dude kissing chaos that is the coterie. Thank you. Please join the Discord and go and check out the pet channel and many of the, like, we've got a whole art channel. People are friendly there. It's very chilled out. Join the Discord. And don't forget that we have a clips channel, Clip and Seethe. We're trying to get that to 1,000 subscribers so that can get monetized and the people who do all the work on it actually get paid. That would be fucking awesome. Because they own 100% of it and get 100% of the revenue when it is actually monetized. Please go sub to them.
Jeremy might have fronted the whole.
Actually, one thing I do want on the record is that despite the lies, Jeremy told I was the only person who never got paid a single cent while the Publica was happening. Jeremy might have fronted the whole thing financially, but also every dollar went to him, which is fucking crazy. That is, like, for those of you who've been following this closely, one of the things with, like, Jeremy, like one of the defenses for Jeremy was, well, he was actually really good to Sydne Watson. Sydne Watson kind of stabbed him in the back because, like, he was paying Sydne and giving her, like, a load of money and fronted a load of money for this thing. And she got paid out of it. Apparently, she got paid fucking nothing. Everyone else got paid. Which is absolutely absurd.
Thing financially out of his ass. Give him 100.
And when I asked to see the books, he'd give me the he'd give me the runaround. Or when I asked if I could buy him out, he kept insisting I give him 100 on 200k. He'd pull these random numbers out of his ass. Dude, that is actually fucking wild. But yeah, I never ever made any money on TP. I also worked for free. I coordinated all our people. I edited their videos, edited their writing initially. I was the content person, haha. He contributed very little, shocking, but would call me and badger me about it all. Again, this is actually part of the record. I'd like that set straight because it is insane to me to suggest I made... We'll go ahead a little bit. It is insane to me to suggest I made 250k when I didn't see a single dollar. Sydney, you're killing me, Sydney. I don't know, man. Maybe you shouldn't have been such a complete fucking scumbag the entire time.
Part of the record I'd like to set straight because it is insane to suggest I made $250,000 when I didn't see a single dollar. Ooh, fraud alert. Fraud alert. I said that's Jeremy's MO. He likes to boast about how much money he gives to people who just betray him for no reason. And she says, yes, it's insane. And that's what started me to distance myself. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, here's a big... We're going to get into something here where he actually just stole money from her, completely separated from the Publica thing. Completely separated. He just stole money from her, and this is wild. Okay, let me take a swig. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like it. All right. Here we go. I don't know how this is legal, by the way, but yeah, he unironically stole money with it. Thank you, one in Pulse for 2,000 kicks. Appreciate you, brother.
I mean, what are you meant to say to this shit? Like... Because the idea that Jeremy has been potentially holding things against people to keep people quiet, absolutely fucking wild. I mean, if he stole money from Sydne Watson, if there is strong evidence of this as well, I mean, it really is like like, his biggest defense is that he's, like, nice to people and helps people out. But the most, like, this is a case where he may have actually fucked over Sydne, and Sydne has just been quiet about it for years.
I hate how I can't see subs on Kick. Oh, I know. Bitch, trust me, Jesus, guys. 1,000 kicks, 11. Buddy, I appreciate it. Blue, don't do it, bro. Don't do it, bro. What caused me to start to distance myself and dislike him immensely actually had to do with my tea company. You guys ready? This is wild. When I read this, I was shaking with anger. When I was gearing up to launch, he said he would do my fulfillment for me from his 3PL. So we had a lot of phone conversations about cost, etc. He said he wasn't trying to make money off of me, and I said, great. Foreshadowing, everyone. Foreshadowing. Maybe we can help you get better shipping rates for your coffee with the increased quantity of shipments, including my tea. I don't expect people to make $0, but I understand business. I thought it was so cool he prepared to break even to help me. Like, wow, it's awesome, right? Anyway, didn't turn out like that at all. Without boring you with the detail, 3PLs charge anywhere from 50 cents, maybe $1.75 per item, depending on what it is, to pack and ship. Usually it'll be $1 for the first item, then maybe 30 to 70 cents for every item after. So say someone was packing a 4-pack of tea, they'd charge $1, then say 50 cents 3 times for $2.50 for the whole package. 3PLs charge you for everything, including boxes. Ooh. Too late, Ram. Too late.
Dude.
All right. Building the boxes and adding special things to the order, etc. We talked a bunch before we decided to go with Jeremy. And it was really because he was my friend and we had a handshake agreement that he wouldn't fuck me over. Well, it is Jeremy Hambly, everybody. It is Jeremy Hambly. Okay?
Bro, has anyone other than Melanie Mack? I think Melanie Mack is the only person who's like stood by Jeremy, and it's because she is so fucking pick-me-brained that she physically cannot betray him. Physically cannot betray him. She cannot bring herself to do it. Apparently, every other person that Jeremy has interacted with has had such a deeply negative fucking experience with this freak. It is actually infuriating. And when I started covering this drama, I was like, yes, okay, it's been years of watching the Quartering survive when he never fucking should have done. But now we're at the point where I'm like, bro, how were people letting this guy survive for so long? Shouldn't there have been a fucking like group of like, God, we hate the fucking Quartering years ago? Shouldn't there be a group chat to leak of just like fuck Jeremy group chat? I'm generally interested in seeing if Diesel had any insider take on this since he makes tea and coffee in a similar way to Jer. Yeah, I mean, I should ask him about it because he's got mana potion, hasn't he?
Keep in mind, I want you to see this last sentence right here. We agreed on $2.50 a box. How much does anybody in the chat predict it ended up being?
Okay, let's play a game, chat. How much do you want to predict that it ended up being? The prediction is $2.50 a box. Okay? I reckon it's going to be like, I don't know, $5? Like double the amount, maybe more. Maybe $7.50. I don't know. I haven't pre-watched this. I've got no fucking idea. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. You guys think 10, 12? If he's such a scumbag, say something, but apparently some right-wing content creators are so desperate for a clique, they support the scum, yeah. $4.80, $8, $2.50. Gotta be 10 at least, 8 at least. Okay, let's find out.
Jeremy Hambly is somebody you have to have a contract with. Jeremy Hambly knows this. So Jeremy Hambly will openly manipulate you, right? A lot of you are getting really close in the chat, actually. A lot of you are way under. Woo! It's crazy. Jeff, yeah, you're under. Jeff on the road. How you doing, Jeff on the roads? So, what did Jeremy Hambly say early on in his career? In a very, very, very early YouTube clip, he said he was extremely good at sales, manipulating people, and tugging on heartstrings.
Oh, God, yeah.
Remember that? Yeah, he still utilizes this shit to the day, right? So here we go. We agreed on $2.50 per box. We took this to mean per completed box. He ended up charging me $2.50 per item.
Oh, shit.
Per item.
Oh,
what
fuck.
if there's 10 things in this box, dude?
No
What if there's
fucking
100
shot.
boxes? The Quartering just makes like 10 grand for free. He was charging her 5 times more than he agreed, depending on the quantity. Jeremy Hambly is supposed to be her friend. And
Sapient with the 5. It really pisses me off that all these creators claim to be against degeneracy while covering the shut up or participating. Utter hypocrites. I mean, like, this is part of the problem, right? It's like, you sort of have to police your own space to some extent. You have to. This is like the fucking, what the fuck was it called? The fucking skeptic, social media thing that got, promoted that Harmful Opinions, outed. Candid. There we go, Candid. Fuck, my brain took a moment there. It's kind of like Candid. Like, everyone just randomly supported it. And no one called the shit out. It's insanity.
he was charging her 5 times? I'm sorry you felt that way, Remy.
Dude.
Wait till you see how he responds when she's pissed about this, by the way. So, for a 4-pack of my tea, keep in mind how small little tea packets are, by the way. Contract or firm handshake? It was a handshake deal, right? You know Jeremy insisted on a handshake deal. You know he did because he intended on completely destroying her. Because that's what he does, dude. The homie tax. Yeah, the homie tax where you get completely raked over the coals.
Absolutely
So for a pack of
fucking
tea,
gross, bro.
that was just $10. $10 was $10 just to pack it in a box. Jeremy charged her $10 just to pack it into a box. $8 to ship. So I'm in it for $18 just to get a single package shipped with
$18. 18 fucking dollars for a single package to ship. That is fucking extortionate. Well, why does everyone keep stabbing me in the back? Why does everyone keep abandoning me? Why can't I keep any friends? You fucking scumbag. Objectively scumbag behavior. No one has asked which AI they used that data in. Like 404 with 2. Dude.
him. Even in the most expensive places, $2.50 per item is fucking insane. His dudes get paid $15 an hour, so 1.5 of my boxes would pay for one of his guys' entire hours of work.
Vessel, is this before or after tax? Fuck only knows.
Everything else is eventually just profit.
Sadly, my Discord is fucked.
Everything else is eventually just profit. So my first bill from him was fucking lunacy. And it was my entire profit margin. Yeah, no shit. The whole profit margin. Now, I want to give you...
I'll be honest with you. Is that not running at a loss? How are you paying 18 per box and not running at a fucking loss?
Guys, some context here. This is the financial fraud robbing part of the DMs, by the way. Just letting you know, there's multiple. And it was my entire profit margin. When I asked him about this, he said, you should have structured your business better. You just didn't realize what you were doing when you went in business with me, Sydney. That's what he was meaning. Well, you shouldn't have partnered with my dumb ass, Sydney. Should have done better, Sydney. Why? Because Jeremy is a god. Jeremy, no, he is a business god. Keep in mind, he's a multi-trillionaire business god. He's Elon Musk. He's the overweight, bald, smelly Elon Musk. Right? So he's like, oh, you know what, Sydney? You just suck at business, and I'm a god.
Is Jer trying to make a fucking pyramid scheme? I mean, no wonder this guy is going fucking bankrupt. No wonder if this is how he runs his fucking businesses. What a dodgy guy to get into bed with. As Adam well knows.
God, and I robbed you.
Jeremy a millionaire? I mean, here's the thing. Jeremy should be a millionaire. Because Jeremy has easily made millions doing this. I'm not kidding. Like, some of the income on his channels, across the platforms, is fucking crazy. And he has pissed it into the drain in his basement, seemingly. This man should have, at this point, generational wealth. He should have enough money to never work a day in his life again. But he has pissed it into the drain.
You, good luck. You're a dumbass. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. That must be the only that might be the only honest thing he's ever said. There was no negotiating with him either. His attitude was basically suck it. So I pulled my product. He so kindly offered to pay to have it. Oh shit! I might have to go back and hit show more on this one because I might have not done that for the thing. Yep. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. I'll just read it to you because it's like.
But my question is, what kept us silent for this so long? I'm not trying to victim blame, but was she scared what would happen if she spoke out about this? So the first DM Camelot shows, he censors the very first DM, and it does seem like the quartering has something on Sydney. There's a potential that he has an NDA on her, and she's worried that he'll sue her.
2 seconds. I've never seen a message say show more.
That's just speculation on my part, by the way.
Of a DM. So I was confused. Oh, I'm passing some crazy shit. All right. So he said you should have structured better. There's no negotiating with him. He said, suck it. So I pulled my product. He so kindly offered to pay to have it shipped to Texas. I think he paid half, but it cost me thousands of dollars to get it back here. And he crippled my fledgling business all so he can make a few extra bucks. All right.
It was sensitive information pertaining to the woman she's in a legal battle with. Interesting.
There we go. Now we're caught up. My cat's fucking freaking out, brother.
Jeremy threatened to
So I
hold her
said,
over
what the
Sydney's
fuck
head.
is what I said to
Fucking
respond.
hell.
I said, what the fuck? All right. She says, I know this is boring, but it started me on the wow. This is the first instance that Sydney was like, wow, actually, this might be a very bad person I'm dealing with here. This is a very bad person I'm dealing with. That's what she's saying, you know? She said, I started to withdraw from him. She's like, I'm so glad I do my own fulfillment. I love writing little cards for people. I like to add freebies. I love the positive feedback I get from customers, but he fucked me.
Okay. I want to get ahead to some of the other stuff. And I also the fucking interview. I really want to get into this interview. So, he once called me the cuck destroyer, and I don't think he realizes how true that is. My fucking god. Okay, look, again, I have not pre-watched any of this. I've got no idea what happens in it. I don't know what's said. It's long. It's long. We'll see how it goes. How long is this? It's like an hour. It's like an hour. Okay. So let's get into it. Let's get into Camelot's interview with Sydne Watson. It should be fucking good.
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry if the noise is a bit wonky. I pace because I'm stressed out by all of this. I just want to clarify a few things because I've been watching along. Because I really don't want to be involved in any of this for pretty obvious reasons, but I do want to clarify that Jeremy's never threatened my personal life from the perspective of exposing things about my boyfriend or anything like that. That's just an ongoing concern that I have because he's a very private person and I don't want anybody to, think he's fair game because he's just not. And that kind of goes for the things that I know about Jeremy too.
Hold on.
He's a very about my boyfriend or anything like that. That's just an ongoing concern that I have because he's a very private person.
That's probably not a good beginning to this.
And I don't want anybody to, think he's fair game because he's just not. And that kind of goes for the things that I know about Jeremy too. There's no world, and the people in my DMs asking me, I'm never going to say anything because I said this in my video about Elijah Schaefer where I made the point that a lot of this is mutually assured destruction. And there's nothing really in my life, I'm boring. There's nothing really in my life that I want to hide or anything like that. But I will never go after somebody's personal life like that. So I just want to clarify that.
Good.
I think that's really important.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's what.
Look, I'll be honest with you guys. She says this, and I know I'm memeing a little bit on this I think Jeremy's gay thing. But there is something going on in this guy's personal life. And the more I joke about the Jeremy fucks Adam thing, and that's why all this started, because he was like, that's a step too far, the more I believe it. And I can't tell whether I am convincing myself that this man is fucking gay and there's no bull. It's just that's his boyfriend. And I literally cannot tell. I don't know. Chat, literally, what do you think? Joking aside, do you guys think Jeremy's gay? Or do you think there is something else going on? Do you think his marriage is a sham? What do we think here? Because there's definitely fucking something. PPP says he thinks there may be something to that weird Nexium sex cult thing or whatever it's called. It all fits. He's a bear. I feel he's closeted gay. Maybe he's bi. An insecure gay man who has reminding people he likes boobs. Yeah. Wife is a beard. I really, there is something here. There is genuinely something here. And I want to know what the fuck it is. Okay? I'm very, very invested in finding out what the fuck is going on in this guy's life.
That's how it should be. You know what I'm saying? You should always kind of leave that off the table. And, that's why I think people are calling Jeremy a hypocrite, because Jeremy seems to be going around and doing that kind of thing behind alts, or when he gets kind of, messed up like at night on a Friday or Saturday and whatnot, which you have a lot of experience with.
Yeah, I
So,
do.
yeah.
I mean, and like my motivation here is, and I think people sort of misunderstand, they think that it's a pile-on. And for me, I think having to deal with two of the same kind of man back to back was pretty awful. And granted, I put myself in that situation. I didn't correctly read the room. But when I extricate myself, I just want to be left alone.
Hopefully Rackets delivers. Yeah, listen, I wonder whether Rakita might be like, because Rakita does occasionally just go fucking crazy, and he's like, nah, do you know what? Fuck it, I'll pull the pin out of the grenade. I'll pull the pin out of the fucking grenade. And I wonder whether Rakita's like the final piece where it becomes, I got you guys. I got you. Don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. He's fucking gay. Like, Rakita knows things. Yeah, I can believe that.
Like making my
What if
content
Jeremy's
and
an
being
egg
in my
in
weird little
denial?
bubble with my community, and that's kind of just where I want to be. I don't want to be involved in the ongoing drama. The other thing I just want to clarify,
Like, here's the thing as well. Jeremy is the sort of man who literally will tell stories where he is shitting himself. Okay? Where he is shitting himself in public. That is the sort of man Jeremy is. So what is bad enough in his personal life that he is not prepared to tell an audience about it? If you don't have that kind of filter, what must be going on with your life that you're like, yeah, no, okay, listen, Walmart story where you shit yourself, absolutely A-okay, okay? A-okay to tell that story. Story where, like, you get punched at Magic the Gathering, A-okay. Story where you were like, I don't know, like, fucking all the weird shit he's fucking said. Talking about how he's lonely and alone and sad. All that stuff's fine. What the fuck is going on in your life that you need to hide something?
too, is I don't know if Jeremy's product is drop shipped. I can't speak to that. What I meant is that I do all my own packing. He doesn't obviously like touch the product going into the bags or anything like.
God damn it, Sydney. You ruined my Jeremy packs the coffee with his piss-filled hands theory. Sydney, I thought we were on the same page. Fuck.
Like that. He has employees who do that. Whether or not they work directly under him, I also don't know. So I can't comment on that. I'm not going to, because I just don't know.
Okay. Yeah, it's that's what the chat is like. They're like, oh, it's dropship. Oh, God, Jesus. Everybody's
I don't want to give anybody any ammo saying that I lied or I said something that, could be misconstrued in any way. So I just want to clarify a couple of things. And the last thing is, yes, I did record conversations. It's obviously so taboo in our industry to do that. Again, these are not things I'm going to be putting on the internet. They were for me to listen back to because he made me feel crazy.
Right.
So it was just a thing where I was like, oh, this guy's saying one thing, on an 11 o'clock call at night when he's drunk off of his head. And then I'd be like, wait a minute, you said all this stuff last night. And then the next day he'd phone and be like, I never said that. And so I just felt like I was losing my mind.
So like what kind of stuff would he say? Would just like business stuff or?
Yeah. So with the business, he would call me and he'd be like, you got to buy me out and you owe me all this money. And at the time I was in the middle of a lawsuit. So I hadn't really been working a ton because also I was working for free on the Publica and trying to get that up and running. And obviously the way that business played out wasn't awesome, and there's definitely some culpability on my end with how things went, but he would call me and badger me about it, and then the next day I'd be like, okay, well, you said all this stuff yesterday.
He takes Adam to a Christian strip club called Oranges. It's all connected. Raso Fred with a 5. Can we search for like a strip club called Oranges in Wisconsin, please? Let me know if that exists. Q Hood Monocle with a 5. Well, his wife is still around. She's not in the walls. Not yet anyways. If it's something so horrendous, it's potentially criminal, but does she know? I mean, is he putting bodies in the fucking claw machines in their basement? What the fuck could it be?
I don't have $100,000 to buy you out or whatever arbitrary number he's pulling out of his butt. But then he would say, oh, I never said that. And I really want to do this with you. And it it was very confusing, and I always felt like I was being gaslit.
Yeah. And that's what he does now. He'll have a crash out on Twitter and then just delete everything. And
we sure the wife is still around? I believe so. And the reason I think the wife is still around is because you can see the flight paths, and it does still. She seems to be starting her flights in the general area. Yes, Teddy, what's up, buddy?
I guess he does. That's what my theory is. He just doesn't remember the next day, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
very
I mean,
frustrating.
there was just a lot of weirdness that went on. And the thing was that I went from working with an alcoholic who was
good, Teddy.
always drunk to working with another alcoholic. And I was just like, hey, I get it. Everybody struggles with these things or has a thing that maybe doesn't work for them. But if you want to work with me, this has to stop. Because I have a weird history around alcohol. It stresses me out. I don't drink. And just, having to deal with somebody who was calling me absolutely off his head always made me really uncomfortable. And I was like, dude, get it together. Especially with him like tweeting at people, I'd be behind the scenes like, hey man, I think you should lay off. And the worst part was people have always treated me like his keeper. They DM me behind the scenes and say, hey, can you, get him to stop doing this and that? And I'd be like, this is a freaking 40-year-old man, guys.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not his keeper. So yeah. Don't drink and tweet, kids.
So his drinking deal, this it's been a while since you've been separated from this whole deal, right?
Yeah, like 18 months. And that's why I don't understand when the Publica ended. And again, things got ugly. It wasn't good. I freely admit that. Maybe one day I'll talk about it. But yeah, things were not great. And then he, after that, just started talking
Right with the two. Christian Strip Club would be an awesome band name. True.
Insane amounts of shit about me. And a lot of it was so untrue. Like when you told me the $250,000 thing, that's what sent me into orbit. Because I was like, that's insane.
That's what he's repeating. Yeah, Jeremy has, like I told you the message, Jeremy has this thing where he'll just like...
Dude, I mean, again, I totally believe this because this is what he did to Bearing and Dankula. He was trying to gaslight both of them that the channel had been deleted because of haters. And they were like, no, it hasn't. What the fuck are you talking about? So the idea of Jeremy getting really drunk and doing insane shit and then lying about it later is very, very, like, on form for him.
Brag to the public about how much money he gives to people just out of the goodness of his heart, and then they just betray him. They betray him.
So let me clarify on that. The only time Jeremy ever paid me was when we were doing streams together, and he would give me half of whatever super chat money was left after YouTube took its cut. That's the only time. And when the Publica was happening, there was actually one payment that he quote unquote owed me. And I said, hey, you keep it. You just roll that back into the business. That's the only time he's ever paid me. I never made any money from that enterprise, but that's okay, right? Because when you're growing a business, typically you're the last person to get paid.
Right. Exactly.
But to make it sound like I made out like a bandit is insane. I didn't know that. And that is staggering to me.
Yeah, I mean that's what I think he has said this multiple times. Like he keeps saying it. He keeps saying it. He does this with a lot of
I'm not surprised she's pissed.
Specifically, like there's Trillium Girl on that June documentary. He gave her like $1,000 and all this streaming equipment. I don't know the details, but he apparently gave her all this stuff. And like, is that common? Is that something he does with like a lot of people, specifically women? He just like offers to give them money and help them and finance their stuff. Like, is that a thing?
I can't really speak to other people's experiences. I'm not sure. At the front end, I think that he definitely wants to be a nice guy. He wants to be your friend. He wants to be helpful. And, to his credit, he gave me a ton of great YouTube advice, and he would help me with titles and thumbnails and all sorts of stuff at the front end. But I think that over time, it gets really sour. And that's kind of what happened between us. The tea thing, obviously, was a really big turning point for me. And I know it's all a bit boring to explain to people, but when you have somebody who's supposed to be doing you a favor, and I know what people are going to say, Sydney, you dumbass, why would you ever have a handshake agreement? And fair enough, lesson learned. But, when you're working with people, do
you know what? Like, yeah, it is stupid to have a handshake agreement. But when you are friends with somebody and you've known them for a while and they're like a decent person, you do trust people. And like, it's a really interesting thing that she says about the recorded calls where it's like a taboo thing in our sector and things. And at some point, one of the reasons that you end up recording calls is like, and again, like I've recorded a lot of calls with people that I've never released and never will release, because you kind of sit there and you go, this is like a contentious conversation and I don't want to get stabbed in the fucking back. And if this person comes out and says something about me that's just not true and calls me a liar, I need some evidence on hand to be like, actually, hold the fuck on. I know that that's not true. I've got you on record as saying something like, as saying the exact opposite of this. I've got you on record doing it. And you kind of need that because people will just fucking snake you. The Lost Beckett tapes? Yeah, the Lost Beckett tapes. I mean, Emu Emmy's a perfect example of this, right? Like, I've got my recorded call with Emu Emmy, but Emmy's never come out and the only person who's come out and accused me of saying shit about her is KP. Emmy's never done it herself, so I've got no reason to release the call. There's no need, because Emmy's not attacked me.
We expect that they're going to continue to be good to you and nice to you, but it just quickly devolved, I guess, for me. So I don't know if other women have experienced, or I don't know what other women have gone through, but just definitely in my case, yeah, it was like you had this person who was trying to help. He never was like, oh, let me give you a bunch of money, but he was like, let me help you. Well, because I was at my lowest when he and I started working together.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Because my
Isn't your agreement with the Clips channel guys basically a public handshake contract? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, nothing's in writing, right? It's just you guys run the channel and you guys own it. But I suppose, like, again, I view this stuff as like, I don't even take a paycheck out the channel at the moment. So, you know, my agreements with Jenny for a long time were kind of handshake agreements. We've been friends for a long time, so you just trust people. And, like, either one of us could have fucked over the other at certain points, and you just don't. But the safe thing to do is have everything in writing.
other show had just fallen apart.
right, and then you decided. So, like, was it after the tea or the Publica thing? Like, what was the catalyst for you, like, separating your show from Jeremy? Because it just ended, right? So, like, what was the catalyst?
Yeah, so honestly, this has been so long. I feel like it's been so long that timeline-wise, I might stuff some stuff up here so everybody can double check me on when things ended and started and whatnot. But basically, we were doing a fun little stream together called Community Notes. And I think because it wasn't generating as much money as he liked.
NLS, you're not paying the Clip channel guys, they just get the money. Yeah, once it's monetized, they own everything on it, and they'll, like, earn the lifetime revenue from it. But yeah, I mean, I view them as doing a massive favor for me, I should be clear, which is why, like, they'll own that forever. That's the payoff.
He was like, hey, let's not do this. It's kind of taking away from other things, which was fine with me because I was trying to grow my channel back and kind of recover from all the things that had happened to me. You know, I was in the middle of a lawsuit. Like, I was stressed out. So that was.
Can I make a Clip and Seethe channel? As always, I don't care if people re-upload my content. I don't give a shit about that. But, like, no, I wouldn't do another, like, branded channel or promote another branded channel for Clips, okay? Like, Ash and KJ are doing a fucking great job. They're doing, like, loads of work on the thumbnails. The clips are, like, pretty tight. I'm really enjoying them when I see them pop up on the feed. So, yeah, no, they're doing really, really good. I'm really pleased with them.
Fine. And then I think it was after that that he wanted to do the Publica, which, again, I think was a really great, noble idea. But, you know, to have a business like that, you really need a lot of infrastructure. You need a lot of money behind it, a lot of people. And obviously, we just didn't have that. And I totally take responsibility for, you know, part of that going completely wrong. So, yeah, we went from Community Notes to the Publica. And around this time was when the tea thing happened. And that's when I was like, wow, you suck.
Yeah, that was like that changed your impression of him, I guess.
Yeah, completely. Because at that point, I was used to the drunk calls, and I was used to, you know, some of the other weirdness. But at that point, I didn't fully dislike him. I just thought, okay, this is a person who's, you know, struggling and he's got some stuff that he's dealing with. Fair enough. We all have that. And then yeah, when he fucked my business, I was like, yo, this feels kind of personal and deliberate and shitty. And just being told, oh, structure your business better really upset me because, you know, as you kind of probably got when I was DMing you, I love my company. Like I put so much of my time into it. So yeah, that was really upsetting. That kind of changed my perspective of him.
Oh yeah, as it would, and that's why I asked you a question in DMs as far as, you know, the weird stuff. Like when you saw, because you would have everybody saw it when you saw that Ren Fair clip. Like, what was your impression of it?
I just thought, why would you behave like that in public?
Yeah, simple, right? Like, what do you?
I think, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of this, especially as a woman commenting, people chalk all this stuff up to feminism, and they'll say things like, "Oh, women shouldn't have this perspective," and you know, "Oh, you're being too sensitive." But you know, in reality, I think that one of the primary functions of a man is to protect women and to make sure that women are not being creeped on. And if you're the man doing the creeping, there's a problem.
Yeah, and he quote tweeted that at me, and I don't know how he didn't have me blocked. He actually blocked me like 2 days ago before he deleted X, which was very shocking. I lasted that long, but when he quote tweeted at me, he said it was just normal banter, normal behavior, and I was blown away because I've never in my life wanted to follow people and film them, and you know,
No, that's odd behavior. That's bizarre behavior.
yeah, and like that's why I
Okay.
asked you, like, that is when you were around him personally. I mean, does he act in a way like, especially when he's drinking, like because you went to probably like some or meetups or whatever, like conventions together and did some events together? Like, was there ever any air of this, like him being weird as hell in public or anything like that?
No, not to my knowledge. The only incident that really stands out to me, you got to remember, it's been a couple years now,
Yeah.
but the only incident that really stood out to me was the one where we go into a bar, a big group of us. I was
Right.
chatting to a bloke that I ended up
Okay.
dating.
Right.
He and I just met that night. And yeah, on the way home, Jeremy was telling me that he's going to beat this guy up and he's going to fight him. And
What? What? Hey, Sydney, you met this really nice guy. Met this really nice guy. I'm so happy for you. I'm gonna kick his fucking ass. What?
I was like, what's giving you this indication that you're going to fight another man to, I guess, for me, like not for me as on behalf of me, but for me as in to conquer, to take the woman back to cave. Like that was the vibe. And I was like, dude, I don't know what's given you the indication that this is acceptable behavior, because at that point, you know, he'd been cool. Like, you know, he'd been someone who I was talking to about other relationships. We'd sort of talked about bits and bobs to do with our personal lives and things. And I was like, oh, this is like a friend. This is a friend, not someone who's interested in me. And that was when I was like, oh, Christ, no, sir, no.
Yeah, that
Not
goes
like-
back to the manipulation. Like he said earlier in his career, he was really, really good at like kind of like worming in and manipulating and kind of pulling at people's heartstrings. So that would make sense getting into those like conversations about personal stuff and how he's going to help and stuff like that to find his way in. That's my impression.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the motivation was or whatever, but this is also before all of the super awful crap went down. So, like, as in with my show ending and what have you. So, I don't know. Perhaps I'm naive, and I hate to admit that, but I think in some ways I'm a bit of a dum dum when it comes to these interactions, because I go into it thinking, oh, we're cool, we're fine, we're mates. There's nothing else to this, and then I learn that I have misread the situation or misread the room, and I'm like, oh crap, and then have to navigate it. That was definitely a really, really weird situation.
This is bizarre. He's married. And like, Sydney's a woman. Like, if Sydney was a guy and Jeremy was trying to fuck him, I'd understand. But Sydney's a woman. Like, is it just extra bit? This is really fucking bizarre. What the fuck is going on?
And I just was like, I mean, okay. And I mean, when I dropped him off at his hotel, I was just like, get out of my car, please, get out. This is so weird. And I was so uncomfortable. And then, yeah, that bloke and I went on to date for a little bit. And then I met my now boyfriend. So, yeah.
Right. And then after that, now is this before? I mean, this, you said this was probably the first instance. So like he would like drunk call you and say like kind of weird, strange shit, or text you weird shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the drunk calling was really from day one. And again, like, I'm not gonna come down like a ton of bricks on this dude, because so many people have problems with alcohol. And
Yeah.
I think that, you know, being fair to just humans, if someone's dealing with something and they're not ready to deal with it properly, yeah, substances play a huge role. I don't like working with people who have substance problems, because they almost inevitably cause problems for you and for everybody around you. And so I knew when we started working together, you gotta remember, so I met this dude maybe in 2020 or maybe 2021, I'm not sure. So we met and then we were cool. He hit on me. It was whatever. I was like, all right, I'm going to let it go because you were trashed. So let me let that go and I won't hold it against you. You know, we've all done stupid shit when we've been drunk. And then when my show ended, so that was 2022, beginning of 2022, that's when he
Seethe, is your gay fanfic quartering based entirely on the story of him being trapped in a bathroom with a guy in a puddle of shit? No, it's based on the fact that, and I will repeat this as many times as required, it is based on the fact that people have been saying that the quartering is a cuck for years now. Years. And they've been mean to him, they've been like aggressive with him, he's been a joke, and he's never done anything. But when Kino Casino put up a picture of the Jewish bull, that's when the quartering started actually going after them. That's when he started flagging channels, seemingly. And I think that that's because this guy's apparently been his, like, close to Jeremy for 10 years. I think it's because Adam, this Jewish, like, the Jewish bull, is actually the quartering's boyfriend. And the quartering was really upset because Andy Warski and PPP went after his partner. That's what at this point, that's actually what I genuinely believe. I think Adam is like incredibly close to the quartering, and that's the reason he started striking them. That's what finally tipped him over the edge.
came along and was like, hey,
I've
let's
always
work.
considered my alcohol intake a net positive based. Beckett, you don't get it. If he fights the other man, he'll get to touch him. He's mad the guy is talking to Sydney and not to him. True!
Together. And because I'd seen how he is when he's drunk, and he's drunk a lot, I was like, hey man, you know, if we're going to do this, I really need you to sober up. And I really I really wanted things to work out, because that was like my absolute lowest as a person. When my show ended, I felt like a massive failure.
Yeah.
And I thought that I just was so sad, you know, like I just was so sad. And so I thought, great, you know, this is another opportunity to do something that's going to be fun and a lot less pressure, and hopefully just a better environment for me. And then it was just more of the same shit on a long enough timeline. And I hate that, because I don't want to be an e-person who leaves this like string of drama and bodies behind me. I want to be the unproblematic queen.
Okay, that ship might have fucking sailed, Sydney. That ship may have sailed a long time ago, Sydney. What do you mean?
That's what I want, and I can't have it because of my stupid decisions. So,
Jeremy.
yeah.
I don't know if you can divulge it, but Yellow Flashes, my boys in the chat. Do you like? Okay, you've probably seen the crazy shit, and it's a meme, right? It's a meme that's likely true. But do you know anything about this weird situation in his personal life with this bull guy?
Hold on. Okay. Okay. We need to listen very carefully to this.
About this weird situation in his personal life with this bull guy.
I don't, and I think, like I said, this to me is the sort of territory I don't want to get into, because
Okay. Right.
as much as I don't like Jeremy, and I think he's
I don't, but I don't want to get into this territory. That's very interesting. If you don't know anything about it, why wouldn't you want to get into this territory, Sydney? I know it's personal, but if you don't know anything about it, you can speculate, right? Listen, I know I'm putting on the tinfoil hat. I know I'm fully tinfoil hatted here. But being like, oh, I don't know anything, but can we please not talk about it, is, I don't know, suspicious to me. Because I think he's his boyfriend.
butthole. And I know he's gonna, like, I'm gonna just say this ahead of time. He is going to lose his shit about me saying any of this.
Coping about what? Being rich, cool, and smart, lol? Thank you, not Jeremy Hambley. Thank you for the 2. Much appreciated, not Jeremy Hambley. Thank you. Please enjoy this sticker. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Guys, you have been very generous tonight. Much appreciated. Let's go.
And like, as soon as you started this stream and I was tuning in, I was like, oh, I'm fucked. Like, I'm fucked. And so I know, and it's probably going to be more of the like spurging out and the lying, and you know, I know he's got DMs that someone else sent him, private DMs of mine that I had with a former friend that she sent him to get at me, and I know that he's going to probably post them, and it is what it is. And I don't mind explaining if that happens, and I don't mind owning crappy. That's my dog. I'm sorry. She's singing you all the song of her people. Yeah, I don't mind explaining things because, like, you know, I'm not infallible. I've done dumb crap that I'm not proud of. But, you know, when you read private DMs without context and things, you know, people then make their own decisions about what happened. So I don't mind. Like, I'm not trying to hide anything. But as far as getting into his personal life, I'm not going there because I just think that's shitty. Like, other people can speculate, but for me, because again, like, this is a person I was friends with. Do I know things about his personal life? Yes. Does he know things about mine? Also, yes. And so I'm just, yeah, that's like a bridge too far for me.
Okay. And what is your, after everything that's happened? I mean, you sounded pretty like conclusive in DMs, but I might as well just ask, like, what is your impression of Jeremy Hambley now?
I really think he's one of these like nice guy TM people who swoops in when people are at their absolute lowest. Like, if you look at his progression of quote unquote co-hosts, they're mostly women or mostly people who he scooped up when they were having the shittest time of their.
That is so fucking true. That is so fucking true. Like, when you look at Melanie Mac, that is so accurate to Melanie Mac. And other people, like, yes, when people are at their lowest point, that is when Jeremy swoops in. No fucking way. Also, hold on a second. No fuck. What? This was posted 7 hours ago. Hold on.
Anytime I first saw this,
This was posted 7 hours ago. 292 comments. Because he did nothing wrong, dude. I went down with the welcome to. I'm sorry you felt that way. Oh, dude. There's no way she's not deleting comments. Did you catch her saying he's going to lose his shit right after the bull question, her non-response? Yes, actually, you are right. You are right. I have loved the stars with the 5. Thank you very much. Bro. The house always wins, Chrissy. Also, sorry you feel this way. Videos are trash. When did she make this?
God. Hold on. Democracy Manifest and his succulent Chinese meal news report 1991. Is this in New York City?
You can enjoy your succulent Chinese meal if you're breaking the law.
Anytime I try to do an Australian accent, it devolves.
What the fuck is that? Why would you post this 7 hours ago? Comedian Chrissy May is slowly discovering the world's most viral internet videos, and today she reacts to the Democracy Manifest and his Chinese meal viral news post. See full episode here. Wait, hold on. So this is a full episode from how long ago? Streamed 3 months ago. So this was streamed 3 months ago, and you cut it and posted it today? What? Why? Holy fuck, you're insane. That's actually fucking crazy. That's actually fucking wild.
He grabbed me up when I was coming off the back of working with the human embodiment of Caligula, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to come work with me and do streams with me?" And I was at my lowest. He knew I was at my lowest, and I felt like, oh, someone's finally being nice to me. I think you can probably say the same about some of these other women that he's worked with. You know, getting fired by Tim and turfed by Tim, and he came along, was like, "Well, let me save you." And like that would be so noble and so wonderful if it wasn't perhaps a manipulation tactic. And I think that's what's so troublesome about this behavior is you have this nice guy who on a long enough timeline actually demonstrates to you that he actually doesn't give a fuck about you. He cares about money. And I can respect the caring about money thing if you're just open about it.
See, okay, here's like a thing with the quartering as well. I think that it's Like, he has no idea how to judge value. Like, he's like, I've got to be the good businessman, okay? And then that money needs to come back. He's like, do you ever go out with, like, a friend and you go drinking and, like, you'll buy a couple of rounds and then maybe they'll pay for a little bit more than you and they'll be like, oh, you know, I'll grab this round. I'll grab this round. And then the next time you're out, they're like, hey, don't forget, man. I bought you a round I bought you that additional round last time, so you owe me a little bit more this time. You know? Or you lend somebody like $5 and they're like on you the next fucking day. Hey, can I have that back? And it's like, okay, is this a nice thing or are you just like a bit fucking annoying? And he's been described as clingy in the Reddit post we read the other day.
If it's like, hey, I actually don't want to be your friend. I have no interest in, you know, getting to know you or helping you or anything like that. I literally just want to make a shitload of money. I'd be like, fair enough.
I expect all my super chats back, lol.
Oh, let's make a fuckload of money. Let's do it. But to pretend that it's something else, that really bothers me. And that feels very disingenuous.
Yeah, and that's what he's been doing that a lot. Like in every post he was posting a few weeks ago, he says people are betraying him, and he's been nothing but nice to everybody. He's the nicest guy in the world, right?
It's so easy to say that when you genuinely view yourself as this through this like savior complex, and you're not realizing that you're shivving people left, right, and center. Like it's mind-boggling to me that these people genuinely delude themselves into thinking they live in an alternate reality. This is why I said to you, these people are untethered from reality, and they do and say all this stuff that does not reflect actual reality. And when people go, hey, that hurt me, hey, you did a thing that sucked, rather than owning it, they go, no, just kidding, that's a you problem, and I never did that to you. And that's why, you know, again, I feel crazy. and again, I know I'm fucked. Like, I know I'm getting dragged in. I don't want to be dragged in. It is what it is. I did this to myself by, you know, jumping on here and talking to you.
I don't know if you did, Sydney. I think you were already being dragged in fairly thoroughly. It is interesting how worried she seems about this situation, though. Like, the quartering, like, she views the quartering as clearly malicious. I mean, understandably, right?
I accept my fate, but
I don't mean to interrupt you, but like, this has been eating at your mind for a long time.
Oh yeah,
and I know you're like being real nice. You're like, oh, but like you don't like this guy, and a lot of people don't like this guy, and it's for very good reason. And I don't think anybody faults you for that even a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So because he's burnt everything, and I mean he currently has co-hosts right now that are defending. Like, what do you think is the motivation for like the current co-host? Well, not all of them are defending him. They're not saying anything, but some of them are like defending him, saying everybody is lying, everything's lying, even the videos are lies. Say, I tell you. Like, what is that motivation? Were you ever in that like thought process where you would do something like that, or is it just
no? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
To be fair, Melanie Mac is, you know, clinically retarded. Makes me wonder what those DMs contain. I mean, if Hambly is as malicious as Sydney claims, we might well find out soon. I want to know what Rakita has on Hambly. I really, actually, genuinely want to know what Rakita has. Because, like, I feel like that's going to be interesting. Because Rakita's probably not going to have these same reservations about coming out and fucking with Jeremy. She's acting like she's seen what she's done to people that have angered him before. Of course, it's speculation, but she sounds so afraid. I mean, I think that she just really doesn't want to be involved in this shit anymore. But she's also probably pretty pissed off. If somebody made the claim to me about me that like I'd that someone made the claim about me that I'd like been given 250 grand and that wasn't true, I'd be pissed. I'd actually be annoyed. It'd be like, I don't know, it kind of like pins me as like, you know, if I was in a business venture with somebody, it's like, well, that makes it sound like I made out really well and they just didn't, you know, they did it all out of the goodness of their heart. And they're like, they're almost using being nice to me, fate, like not even, honestly, they're like making up a story about being nice to me to save their own fucking skin. It's kind of fucking gross.
It's weird.
No, I think that people are very guided by money, and which, again, I get it. I respect it if you're honest about it. But I think the doubling down thing is that when someone pays your bills, you're not going to shiv them, are you? Because there's no incentive for you to do that. And so I think what people are missing in this equation is no one's going to turn around and destroy their boss unless there's some material benefit to doing that. And so as much as I think it's icky, I understand, like I really get it. You know, I'm lucky enough to be independent. I have the coolest community on YouTube and I love the shit out of my people. And I'm so grateful because they back me and they know that, you know, when there's noise, they're like, well, let's just wait to hear what Sydney has to say. And I really appreciate that. But a lot of these other people don't have that.
Yeah.
And they get thrown to the wolves.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I've been talking about. One of his co-hosts right now, like they don't have a big channel. Like they don't really have a lot to fall back on. So I understand the motivation, but I also would like, you know, just say like, hey, I'm in this for a paycheck. Leave me alone. I think a lot of people would respect that, but they're not doing that. And they're going this weird avenue. And I want your opinion on this. Like, Jeremy's been doing this thing where he keeps evoking like the name of Charlie Kirk for some reason and saying that he's so thankful for religion when stuff gets really bad. Like when the Ren Fair video went viral, he was posting about how Charlie Kirk inspired him and he's so glad he's a Christian now when he was getting like a lot of heat. Like,
also, how fucking gross is it? How fucking gross is it to like, look, I know many people in this chat are not going to be massive fans of Charlie Kirk. Okay? We've got a pretty split audience on shit like that. But even if you don't like Charlie Kirk, we can all agree that that's kind of fucked up, right? To use a dead influencer from your space as like their corpse as a human shield for criticism is immensely fucked up. Like, dude, I'm surprised he's not being called out by his own side for doing it. Doesn't seem like it's a very Christian thing to do. I mean, I despise Kirk. Even I think that's a bit. Yeah, it's fucked. Charlie Kirk has become the George Floyd of terrible people on the right. Probably thinks because Erica Kirk is doing it, so can he. Oh, dude. I find it gross regardless of the person. It could be an actual lolcow and I'd still be grossed out. Yeah, it's fucked up. It is fucked up. Using the name of Dead Man to laugh as a Christian to try and get the heat off you is fucked up. And people are calling him out for that shit. Fuck Jer for that shit.
Do you think that's really disingenuous? I feel like it's really disingenuous.
Oh, absolutely. And I bitched about this privately and probably publicly too. These cultural Christians shit me to death because I think it's really wonderful if you are somebody who has some.
Again, I really like Cafeteria Christian now. That's really fucking good. I mean, like, I like that phrase. Like if Chris Chan died tomorrow and if someone started to try and use Chris Chan's death to get heat off them, I'd not be chill over that. I promise you, when Chris Chan dies, 100 fucking lolcows are going to come out the woodwork and go, see, they tortured Chris Chan. Poor innocent Chris Chan. I promise you, they'll do it.
Sort of enlightenment and you're like, yep, I want to, become a Christian or whatever it is for legitimate reasons. But if you're just wearing Christianity as a skin to stop people from criticizing you and you're using it as a shield, I think that's so embarrassing. And this happens so much in right-wing politics. Not that Jeremy is necessarily in right-wing politics, but he's kind of adjacent. No. I can't speak to whether or not he's a Christian or not. I don't know. Maybe he truly is. But I do find it, the timing is always so interesting to me when people come under attack for very legitimate reasons. And then their immediate turnaround is to say, oh, I'm a Christian. You can't criticize me. Oh, I read my Bible and I go to church. Okay, bitch, then act like a Christian. And stop this silliness on the internet and actually act like a Christian.
Yeah, 100%. It's insane. And that's kind of what he's been doing. And just getting drunk and lying. And I think like you have a lot of experience with that.
Oh, I do.
And I do want you to, I know it's a lot of people.
White girl with two. Erica / Jer hand in hand using Charlie as a shield. Jesus. Sydney had all this time to sort this shit out before recently. Yeah, she did, but sometimes what people will do, and actually I say sometimes, this is often the case. When you fall out with somebody on the internet, what you're actually doing is waiting for the moment where you can go after them properly. Because if Sydney had come out with all this right after working with Jeremy, his reputation was still fine. So she probably wouldn't have got anywhere. So she may well have just been sat on this waiting for a drama like this where he's properly getting dragged and being like, now's my fucking moment.
People are asking, like, is there a part of you or a large part of you or a small part of you that's like legitimately kind of afraid of Jeremy, do you think?
That's a really good question. I'm gonna say yes. I hate this about myself. I said this when I made my Elijah Schaefer video. This is one of the worst characteristics I have, and I have a couple really bad characteristics, but one of them is I minimize myself, because I don't want the drama. And I somehow, I don't know. I know that it's kind of silly to say because I've been in 2 back-to-back drama situations where I've then, had to wait years to be able to have my.
Dude. Sydney has caused a lot of drama around herself. I'm not sure I buy this, but all women have a little feminist in them. Jesus. Wow, Vlad hates women tonight. What shocker. It's usually me.
My say, and to be like, hey, this is actually how it went down, or at least this was how I interpreted things. So yeah, I mean, I guess I'm fearful from the perspective that people know that I don't want to be involved, and they know I probably won't say anything, and so it kind of gives them license to come at me a lot. And because I don't also want to burden my people, my audience, my viewers with drama, so I just stay out of it, and that actually eats at me.
Yeah. No, I totally get it, because it's like an overthinking thing. Well, and I told you this in DMs, but I think it's very, very important, and it is hard to convince yourself. It's an easier said than done thing, right? But I don't think Jeremy has any power. I think he likes to pretend like he does, especially not right now. I think people really, really respect the fact that you're just here. I mean, Shoe on Heads in the chat, she said we love you.
I love Shoe. She's so cute.
Yeah. And there's obviously always going to be trolls and whatnot, but I don't think Jeremy has any power. I think all of his power is through threat.
Well, you know what? Actually, the one thing he could come at me with, I'm just going to actually rip the Band-Aid off. This was my shitty behavior during the Publica thing. So Jeremy, I'm taking this out of your arsenal. So one of the things he's threatened me with is that a girl I formerly worked with, things didn't go well. We had a fallout. I won't name her because I don't think she wants to be associated with any of this. Fair enough. She leaked a bunch of private chats to him where I trashed the shit out of him. And I want that to be really clear. I said some not nice stuff. Because at the time, I was like, fuck this guy. He's making my life hard. He tried to murder my company right as it was trying to get out of the crib. I was like, fuck this guy. So yeah.
Okay. This actually makes a ton of fucking sense. Because if Sydney was in a position where, that's the sort of thing that does occasionally get leaked and do a lot of damage to a person, especially if we don't have the context of, Sydney's company. Sydney is just shit-talking. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see some evidence as well, Vlad. I'm not believing this completely blind. But the story does make sense, and it does line up with the other, shit we've seen out of Jeremy. There is, a ring of truth to it. A triangle of truth.
Yeah, I was a bitch. I was a very, very nasty person in DMs to friends of mine, just by the way. Just mates of mine that I trusted implicitly. Well, silly me, I guess. And right there at the end, and this is the minimizing myself thing, he was calling me. Oh, sorry, I'm walking and I'm stressed. I have to sit. Okay. I think people think I'm this larger than life person, but I'm actually not. This is stressing me out. I have to sit down because I'm getting out of breath. Okay. Okay, so so DMs were leaked to him, and when the Publica was ending, one of the things that we wanted to do, because I love the team, we had all these writers and content creators, and they were great people. And so they relied on the Publica for jobs, right? And so the girl that I was working with was like, hey, I don't think we can kill this because then, we're putting 10 people out of work.
MLS with the 20 US dollars. You can pay me back later. Thank you, buddy. Much appreciated, bro. That's super based of you. Please enjoy this special liked heart thing that I can do. There you go. Cheers, buddy.
Which is horrible. You know, that's a really, really horrible place to be. So I, behind the scenes, was trying to find an investor, going really hard, just like, okay, I called everybody that I knew who could possibly connect me with an investor. I ended up meeting somebody just by
But if the publica was bleeding money, dude, okay, look, okay, we'll just tell the story.
chance at an event. And he was like, yeah, I'll help you fundraise to start a new project. And so at this point, Jeremy was constantly calling me going, oh, you owe me hundreds of thousands of dollars for this website. And I was so stressed out. I was in the middle of this lawsuit. I was in a weird place.
See, again, like, I can totally believe this because Jeremy gets drunk. Like, you've seen the DMs he sent to Bearing. The DMs he sent to Bearing and the DMs he sent to Josh Moon are absolutely fucking unbelievable. They are lunacy. And he clearly gets hammered, starts tweeting crazy shit.
Financially, like, I definitely didn't have a ton of money, but and I was working for free so freaking much and not getting paid, which is, again, it's fine, it's a business, I get it.
Grizzly Bad, Seethe for 23 months, 07 in the chat, thank you, buddy.
It's not getting paid, so I had no money.
What's the lawsuit about? I don't know the Sydne Watson law well enough. I might go and have a look into it though, because if it's like apparently this girl's involved in some way potentially.
Very little money, I should say. I wasn't earning as much as I could have been. And so I said to him, I made out like my financial position was worse than it was in order to extricate myself. I wanted him to feel bad, and I wanted him to be like, oh, I'm doing her a favor. I get to wear my nice guy hat and let her go from this project. And he did. And he did. And, you know, I know that's manipulative and I know that's shitty, but that's the thing that's been eating at me that I don't want him to expose. I totally did that because I wanted out, and I wanted this person to stop harassing me and calling me and stop telling me that I owed him hundreds of thousands of dollars when I'd been doing all this free work and, you know, trying to coordinate and trying to get this thing off the ground. And so I was like, yeah, dude.
Okay. I actually believe her. I actually believe her. Given the timeline of when all this was fucking happening, I actually believe her. And that is a pretty valid reason why she wouldn't want this to come out, because Sydney's like reputation was shit. That seems like a weird thing to be afraid of getting out. I don't think it is. Like, look at it from her perspective. She's already getting sort of like beaten over the head on the online over the Elijah stuff after that shit. And then if it comes out that she was in some way dishonest and bitching about Jeremy when he's in a good position and can just paint her as some like villainous bitch who's ungrateful, like Sydney is not in like the position to defend herself from that. And she's trying her best to like get away, start rebuilding again, and doesn't want to get involved in another in a massive drama. Because it like she'd lose. She would have lost at the time. Woman is admitting to manipulation. Am I supposed to believe her with no proof, lol? Well, I mean, something definitely happened. And it's like, I think this is what she's been worried about. I don't know. If she's lying, it should be pretty easy for Jeremy to disprove her, because he can just show the text messages.
Dude, my situation sucks. I'm super impoverished. Please release me. And he was like, yeah, I'll hold on to the company. And, you know, you can buy me out at a later stage when you're in a better financial position. And I was like, and you know what? Honestly, I probably would have done that if we hadn't have been working on a different company already.
Right. And that's the thing is, like, I actually don't think, I think she chat or said something similar. I don't think those DMs would even matter, because here's the issue: like, he's harassing you for money, like all the time, and he's also not paying you as much as you should be paid.
No, he didn't pay me at all. That's the thing. Didn't pay me a single red cent. And so, you know, it's embarrassing to admit, because I don't want to be an untrustworthy person, but that is one of the shittier things I've done. And it was just largely because I was talking to my friends behind the scenes. One of whom actually was in a very abusive marriage. She left, and I said, this is the person I'm working with. I don't trust him to not flip the fuck out and go off at me publicly, because obviously, you know, in this silly game of internet, whatever that we're doing, it is imperative that you don't misstep and do horrible crap that makes people hate your guts.
Yeah.
It makes it very hard to do this. And so I was terrified that if I just simply said to him, I want out, I can't pay you this random ass sum of money that you're talking about, he would attack me and he'd come at me. And I was genuinely fearful of that. So she said, one of the things you probably could do here that would help you get out of this situation is minimize yourself, be a baby person, be a victim, and allow him to rescue you. And I thought, well, that's embarrassing as shit, but all right, I'm going to do it. And then I got a bloody DM from somebody because he'd obviously been talking to people about it. And I got a bloody DM from someone and they said, oh, I hear you're in financial hardship. And I was like, oh my God, even if this was true and I was as impoverished as I'd made out, I was like, you're telling people that? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, when you're saying that, like, you owe him money and you're afraid of what he's gonna say or what he's gonna, do you feel like you were like in a blackmail situation?
I feel like I was being pushed into a corner.
Yeah.
It was mad because I got where he was coming from, saying, I'm funding this thing, I want to see something for it. But I also kept thinking to myself, that's fine, mate, but you got to bloody turn up and actually freaking contribute. Like, what the hell do you mean you're just going to bitch at me privately, call me drunk, say all this crazy shit, tell me that you're going to pull the plug on 10 people's jobs, which would have been horrific, just by the way. And then you're going to spread it was such a clusterfuck. And like, again, I don't want to be a person that people associate with horrible, manipulative, shitty behavior. But I mean, I suppose if I've got to own it, I've got to own it. Yep. Totally had to minimize myself to get out of that bloody situation. And I'm sad that it didn't work out because I actually think we had something really cool brewing. But at the end of the day, it's like, I can't work with people like that. It's just awful.
I mean, he's a, and for lack of a better phrase, and I've been talking about it for a while, like, he's a pretty bad person. He's a pretty shitty person. I don't think anybody sees you as a bad guy in any way, shape, or form in this situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've definitely tried my absolute best to not be a fuckwit, in my time on the internet. I've misstepped. I've definitely stepped in some potholes and acted like a complete moron from time to time. But, I think a lot of the people who are content creators who know me and who are watching this, even if we've, had conflict or whatever at some point, I think a lot of them would be like, yes, it's all right. And that's what I want people to feel and think. I don't want to be somebody that gets associated with lying and dishonesty and shittiness, because if that's going to be my mark in the world, that sucks. No, thank you. And so to be associated with somebody who's kind of built this brand on, like I said, nice guy TM, like, okay, dude, but is actually kind of hurting people, not physically, but, hurting people in financial ways or threatening them. And I mean, like, the dude was threatening to sue me over this $100,000 or 200, whatever the hell number he's pulling out of his butt. He was threatening to sue me over all this. And I'm thinking, this is so unhinged, bro. Like, do you not understand that the amount of work that I did for...
If you lie to your business partner in order to get out of the business relationship, that could be seen as fraud. Yeah, and at the time, Jeremy did have more money to throw around. Yeah, I'm just sort of listening to this and, like, trying to work it out. I mean, we're getting into, like, a lot of the nitty details of their business relationship. And, like, I mean, I care, don't get me wrong, but there are a limit. It's like, okay, I get it. We saw this in the DMs, though. Okay, we're gonna... I guess because Sydney hasn't provided any evidence, it's kind of difficult. Like, I can see this being true, but is it blackmail? Because, like, this is the word Camelot uses. It's like, do you think Jeremy was blackmailing you? And it's like, what you need there is, hey, you need to buy this business from me, or I'm going to go public with these things and ruin you. When did they start the business? Shortly after podcast with Elijah Schaefer ended.